In lesson 4 of our chapter 4 mini unit, we're going to be talking about slope-intercept form of a linear equation. So what does slope-intercept form mean? Well, a linear equation of the form y equals mx plus b, where m stands for the slope and b is the y-intercept. So when we break this down, m right here stands for the slope. Okay, we also have been talking about this as our coefficient. Another word we've been using for m. Another phrase that we've been talking about is common difference. When we're talking about sequences and things like that, I often said it's your common difference, and your common difference is equal to your coefficient. And all of that stuff has been leading us up to slope. Another thing that we use that for is our rate of change. So we've been talking about slope for a long time, but now finally we are going to actually call it slope, and m is the variable we'll use to signify slope and talk about it. B stands for the y-intercept. Okay, so if you have an XY graph, that is where the line crosses the y-intercept. So this point right here would be the y-intercept of this linear equation. Every linear equation has a y-intercept as long as it crosses the y-axis, which is another reason why if we look at a graph with an undefined slope, one that goes straight up and down like this, that graph will never cross the y-axis here. That's why we don't even give it in slope-intercept form. It would be x equals, I don't know, maybe -4 for this one, whereas slope-intercept form is always y equals something times x plus something. Now it is possible that the line goes right through the origin, and if it goes through the origin, well, I missed there, but if it did go right through the origin, then your y-intercept would be 0, and you wouldn't necessarily have a b. So you could say y equals 3x, and you wouldn't have to write plus 0 because this part here you wouldn't need. So y equals 3x could be an equation, and then if anybody asked you, well, what is the y-intercept? You could say, well, it's 0 because there is no b for this problem. Your x and y just stand for your two coordinates that make this equation true. So write an equation in slope-intercept form of a line with the given slope and y-intercept. Well, they're giving us the slope and the y-intercept. So the normal equation is y equals mx plus b. So now we're just going to substitute m in here and b in there. So y equals -4x plus 5. That would be the slope of the line, or the equation in slope-intercept form of this line. Now, we already should know some things about this line. So -4, what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that our graph is going to look like this. Okay, so if we had an XY coordinate plane, we know it's going down from left to right. So the graph definitely looks like this. What does the 5 tell us? Well, the 5 tells us that the line crosses the y-axis at +5. So if we were just going to draw a quick sketch of what this graph might look like, this picture here, where y is +5 and it's a negative slope, this picture here might be a good estimate of what this line might look like. Alright, so again here, y equals m times x plus b. So substitute your m, y equals 1/2 x. So we'll start that again. Y equals 1/2 x plus -10. Now you could have said plus -10 or just -10. So let's talk about what this looks like. Well, we know here that it's going to cross the y-axis at -10, so it's going to be somewhere down here. So I'll just kind of circle that point. Now, this is a positive graph, but it's only going up 1, and it's running 2. So it's actually going to run more than it's going to rise. So our graph's probably going to be pretty flat, like this one, as opposed to the one over here that was dropping quickly because it had a slope of 4. So this here is actually what we're looking for an answer. But I would like you to start thinking about, what do these numbers mean? -10 means it's way down here, and 1/2 means it's a slow rising graph. It is positive, but it's very slow, whereas this one is decreasing pretty quickly. Alright, so now, given the graph, we should be able to find the slope-intercept form. You need to find two things. You need to find the slope, and you need to find the y-intercept, because that's what we were given here, and it was pretty easy to write the slope-intercept form. So we need to find those two things. So first and foremost, right here is one of our points, which happens to be our b. So I'm going to have us write b equals -2, and we need to find m. Well, since it is a graph and it's already graphed for us, let's go ahead and use the method that we did when finding slope with a graph, rather than using the slope formula. So here, as you can see, we're dropping 2 and we're adding 2. So slope is -2/2, which is -1. So now I know that the y-intercept. So now that we know our y-intercept and our slope, we can write our equation. Y equals -1x minus 2. So we can either say y equals -1x minus 2, or we can actually simplify that a little bit, and we can say that y equals -x minus 2. And this would be the simplest form, or we could say plus -2. So it's important right away, identify your y-intercept and then find out your slope, and then we can write our line. Alright, so for example 4, we notice right here it's crossing right at the origin, so our b is going to equal 0, and we'll find another point along here, and we see it doesn't cross an intersection again until right there. So I see that it's going up 5, and it's running 3, so +5 and then +3. So our slope m is going to be positive 5/3, and so our equation is y equals 5/3 x. Now I don't have to do +0 because well, you add 0 to anything, it's not going to change. So your answer there is y equals 5/3 x. We can go ahead and circle this for our answer here. And now for this example 5, again, the y-intercept is right here. That's b equals -4. And we'll look to see where it crosses again. It looks like it's crossing right here, and here again, and there. So there's a lot of different points you can choose. But now we just go ahead and go up. We're going up 2 and right 1, so +2 + 1. So our m is 2/1, which equals 2. And so then we can go y equals 2x minus 4. Again, that can be plus -4 if you prefer it that way. So now this one, the slope, or the y-intercept, is b equals -2. And then we need to find our slope. So if we go ahead and find another spot that crosses, and it looks like right here will work. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 to the right. So -5 plus 2. So our slope will be -5/2. So when we write that as an equation, it would be y equals -5/2 x minus 2. Okay, and so that is the correct way to write that in slope-intercept form. It's really important to double check your answers here. This is a positive graph from left to right, so just make sure your slope is positive. This one's negative, so make sure your slope is negative. That's really quick and easy to do, so be sure to take the time to do that. This one is going down, so it's negative. This one's going up, so it's positive. And it goes up right through the origin, so it does make sense that I don't have a B listed in this problem. That gets us through all of our examples for today. So if you have any questions, be sure to check the answer key, which I've also loaded on Moodle.